Hello, Virgo. This is the witching hour. Good to see you. Coming to you from the Mystic Smuggler. My name is Michelle, and I'm a witch. And this reading is for all shades of the spectrum of Virgo, however it places in your chart. And if you're a cross watcher for a Virgo, then this is your reading. This is uploaded for November 2020, but it is relevant for when you come to it, whenever that is. I'm using Whispers of Love cards by Josephine Wall. The artwork is by Josephine Wall. I forget the... Let me grab that. Sorry. The little book. There we go. It's by Angela. That's who it is. Sorry. I have to give mention of who it is. Angela Hartfield. And the artwork is by Josephine Wall. Okay? In case you're wondering what that is, I don't get any... I'm not sponsored by anybody yet. So, and I want to keep my channel commercial free. But anyway, so we're going to cover the areas of love, security, and freedom. What I'm going to do, Virgo, is I'm going to channel through this first card. But it's going to be about love. I'm probably going to clarify with the little gypsy cards. Make sure that's not stuck together. These cards are thick and they're kind of stiff, so it's like... Okay, ask for help. That's the underlying energy for love, Virgo. So it's like, in becoming independent, you need support in becoming independent. So feels like it's counterintuitive when you have to ask for that, but that is what's necessary at this time. That's the underlying energy. Here's the card we actually pick. Relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. This is when you have just pretty much gone through everything you can go through, and there is no way out but through. You just have to bust out of the gates and free yourself from whatever that is, whether a person, a dynamic, an environment, a group, whatever that may be for you. But your path is lit, is what I'm feeling from Spirit. You have this one seemingly lonely, or not lonely, solitary animal. And to me, it looks like a white stag. If you can see it, I'm going to try and make sure that's focusing on the top of her forehead. You can see the antlers there. The white stag is the one that leads you through the path. And this is your own sacred space. It's so sacred, there really are no words for it. It's a divinely called path and life calling for you both, but mainly life path. I see at the heart of the issue is maintaining innocence and integrity within your heart and soul, your truest self, the part of you that feels right, the truth. You know the truth by how it feels. And this is you singing your own song, but needing to take a rest, like knowing you can't keep playing the same old tune. If you want the scenario to change, you have to do something different. But it's an integration of all the aspects of your path up until now. Okay. That's love. I'm going to clarify this. as I keep looking at it and channeling the information, I feel that change is necessary. It's patterns. You can change the pattern sometimes by leaving the relationship, but you can't do it by changing the other person. But you can change the pattern by removing yourself from it, if the pattern is an unhealthy one. And it's healthy simply if you just don't want to do it anymore. You know, you need to go beyond it for growth. Sometimes our connections with others, our bonds with others make us want to stay in a relationship because we just don't want to break that bond with the person. But we also are very aware of the fact that we need to break a dynamic or break through or break out of a dynamic. And in doing that, we fear that we're going to lose the person engaged in the dynamic with us, the unhealthy dynamic, or simply the less evolved dynamic that you know it needs to grow, but the other person is really not interested in that right now. They're not into that right now for whatever reason. And making you become stagnant, and only your choice will bring you out of it. Death. Yeah, oh boy. So I see this sadness and this mourning and this grief. There's no way out but through, as far as creating this change that may cause some sorrowful or painful emotion. But I feel that it's bringing you something new and profound. And why do I want to say that the iris is connected to death? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to look that up in the book and let's see. 32. Relationship patterns. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. Consider the patterns that drive you to attract certain people into your life. I'm going to say that again. Consider the patterns that drive you to attract certain people into your life. These patterns are contained within you, it's saying. You may find the next person you meet has similar qualities to your last partner. This is what you are energetically attracting. Once you learn the lesson, you will be able to attract healthier outcomes. It may be helpful to share the disappointment or pain from the past, whether from your current relationship or another period in your life. Be honest with yourself and address situations as they happen. Acknowledge that you can no longer stifle your feelings. Know your strengths and your triggers. See your past relationships as opportunities to grow and figure out what makes you happy. See your past relationships as opportunities to grow and figure out what makes you happy. That's what the past relationships have done. They've helped us discover what we don't like and what we like and what we don't like, what makes me happy, what makes me unhappy. That's what we learned from our relationships. You have a better chance at a lasting relationship when you have self-awareness. Avoid idealizing past relationships as they can hold influence over future outcomes. I'm going to say that again. Avoid idealizing past relationships as they can hold influence over future relationships and future outcomes. I want to add to that, like, don't idealize the future either. Like, oh, I'm gonna have, when I let go of this one, I'm gonna have this ideal person. And you idealize what this person's gonna be like. Go on the reality of your actual experience and what you know to be true in your heart. You know the truth by how it feels, and you're gonna know a fantasy by how it feels as well. An ideal, a concept, you know those by how they feel, in contrast with how the truth makes you feel. Be very aware of that, Virgo. That's going to be your saving grace. Love will not magically make you feel worthy or happy unless you have achieved those values for yourself. A beautiful woman holds a hand mirror. She looks down at irises and a maiden playing a harp. The purple irises depict wisdom and power. It is time to cull through residual emotions of past relationships. Culling isn't just a sorting out, it's a radical sorting out. It's like a killing of. It's eradicating. And to me, that's what reminded me of this death feeling, this scorpionic feeling. Okay? It is time to break your precedents. The harp is about striking a chord of truth in yourself. Whoa! Okay, so all of that is resonating. I like that. I haven't had these cards for very long, and I like to channel them before I read from the book, if I read from the book. Same with these New Agey ones. But I felt very drawn to look at this. And that is in the area of love. Now let's look at the earth plane and pull some cards that depict the area of our security. I feel drawn to the Enchanted Forest. This is called The Journey Through the Enchanted Forest. Your journey through the Enchanted Forest. And it is by Linnea Weatherstone. Okay. It's the back of the card. Okay. I have it separated, but now I'm just going to shuffle to look for the area of security. That is our food, clothing, shelter, and our life calling. Our life calling, that thing you're just meant to do, whether it's your 9 to 5 or a passion project or a hobby, it doesn't matter. It's just that thing you know you are meant to do and you could never not do it. No matter how rich or poor or how much it costs to do, you would just put everything aside just to do this one thing, and time passes as if it doesn't exist. So food, clothing, shelter, and your life calling. Right here, Virgo. At the bottom of the deck, we have Two of Boons, which is equivalent to the Two of Pentacles. This underlying energy is keep maintaining your balance, knowing that if the balance should sway one way or the other, this troll is waiting underneath the bridge. See him, and you can't see him. He blends in with the environment. This is like the boogeyman. You can't see it until you're down there, until you fall. And then you can't see this in the pattern of your life. It blends in. And having to walk this tightrope all the time in this dynamic that you are walking, it's very crucial for you now to cross this bridge, to cross over this bridge from the unhealthy relationship patterns and your self-love and your truth. It really, your life, your livelihood, your ability to thrive, not just survive, depends on it. Depends on you maintaining. Because this pattern is ready to snatch you up if you should teeter-totter on the edge here. So you have to keep focused on your internalized goals. And that's just the underlying energy. Here is the energy that we're choosing, that we have chosen. 5 of Visions. This is the 5 of Cups. this woman has kind of thrown her priorities into the water. I'm going to read this from the book because there's a story behind each card. Each card has a story. So the Five of Boons is equivalent to the Five of Pentacles. Five of Visions is equivalent to Five of Cups. Okay, here she is. She's dropped the ball, and she's got regret. That's what the Five of Cups is about. Cursing her carelessness, a princess chases her precious golden ball down a forest path, watching helplessly as it splashes into a deep pool. Nearby, a smiling frog also watches. He knows that the story is about to change, for he is the Frog Prince, and the dropped ball is his ticket to bliss. It's hers too, though she doesn't know it yet. That's your calling here in this breaking of dynamic patterns, Virgo. It's your bliss, you just don't know it yet. You have to get through what you perceive as the pain of it first, and you can't prolong that. You can't protract that in order to procrastinate the change happening, to avoid it. All she feels is disappointment at the loss of her toy. When she plops down on a damp rock in despair, the hero of the tale will take a froggy leap toward their future. Whatever your equivalent of the golden ball is, don't worry too much if you've lost sight of it. The really good stories take a darker turn before the happy ending. So true. A temporary loss or temporary unhappiness may lead to far greater gains in the long run. Your tale isn't nearly over yet. Meaning at a glance, a temporary disappointment, a pause in happiness, positive options remain. And a closer look at the card, sometimes frogs are royalty put under a spell, but you have to take their word for it. All the frogs in the enchanted forest can talk, so don't let that fool you. Exactly. I came to the conclusion that I had dropped this ball so many times in my life, hoping that it would, in the hopes of pursuing the Frog Prince. I've kissed way too many frogs, or the same frog, over and over again, hoping that that frog, he would change, and I would sacrifice my most precious things, which are not things, my love, my security, and my freedom. Even other relationships were greatly diminished by my connection to hoping this person, this frog, would change into a prince. And he talked the talk, but he never changed. Okay? If that's the relationship pattern you need to break, Virgo, it's happening. I want to say, I don't mean it unkindly, but I want to say it's happening whether you like it or not, because you don't have any other options. Now, if you like, I'm going to clarify that because we still have time. Please clarify the Five of Cups for Virgo to let us know. Oof, widow. Wow, it's almost like this is mourning and grief. This is what you have to face in your practical world. This new pattern has to become a reality. Now, I also cannot go past this without saying this could be literal for some. There is a literal death and a literal widow. So there is obviously some kind of significant loss created by relationship patterns, or a loss. You're free from the relationship patterns because of a death. But here's the widow, and you are grieving at having lost that sense, that tangible sense of security. You can no longer, you're looking back at that golden ball thinking of your regrets, but not seeing that this is your way through, and it just has to be this way. Oh, look what came up next. Three of Visions, a celebration. So let's go to the next part of our story here, Virgo. Let's go into freedom, okay? Let's go into freedom. This freedom is our life path. This area of security is our life calling, what we are just meant and destined to do. It's our thing. It's our blueprint. It's our dharma that we put out, and our fingerprint on the earth. That is our legacy, and that's what our life calling is. And that's what gives us the tangible things in life. It helps us connect to what's real, because you know the truth by how it feels. When it comes to freedom, freedom is your power. Freedom is your personal power, and that drives you through your life path, like where you're supposed to take your calling, where your soul is driving you to go, what is divinely inspired. So let's see where we're going to take ourselves, Virgo. Where are we going to take ourselves? I have a feeling it's going to be a wonderful place. It's going to be a wonderful journey. And that is what I intend on creating. So I hope you are determined to set your own intention for your path. And once you get past the grieving stage, you're not just surviving anymore, that you're thriving. And that you are being led completely by your intuition and your heart and your soul. And nothing else. No one chiming in from the peanut gallery anymore. No more feeling guilty. No shoulds. You're not shoulding on yourself anymore. The bottom of the deck says the Seven of Challenges. This is equivalent to the Seven of Swords. All the things, the underlying energy are all the things, your love, security, and freedom that were stolen, in a sense, by your preoccupation with the person who was stealing them. That's what I'm feeling from Spirit. Someone is getting away with a lot from you. Getting away with a lot. And your preoccupation with changing that person or wanting to love them and bringing out the best in them and believing the best in them, it stole away your time, your security, your freedom, your resources, your emotions, etc. So that's the underlying energy of what patterns we're breaking. So when you feel sad, remember how much you lost and say, I want to get this back. Not reach into the past, but I want to recoup my losses. Sometimes you just have to cut your losses and let bygones be bygones. And then your next step is to regain the essence of those things again. Regain the essence of your love, your security, and your freedom by going on a completely new path. And here is where you're going. Here is where we're going. 9 of Visions. That is the 9 of Cups. That is the wish coming true. That is the coin going into the wishing well, and it's going to bring up our wishes. I remember, I think it was Leo's reading that they got the 9 of Cups as well. Our wishes are coming true, Virgo. Our wishes are coming true. Look, there's the dandelion. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to make it so that this focuses. Right there. And these are little bachelor buttons, I'm pretty sure. And the fern is growing. Look at the spiral of life here. It's magic. This little teeny tiny spiral right here. And the 3 fishes of abundance, signifying abundance on this coin. This Celtic, this ancient old world energy is coming back to serve you from, I just see a little smiley face. I feel like I'm reading a teacup, but I see it there. And these vines of flowers. So this isn't, our wishes are not falling into a deep dark hole and we can never retrieve them again. It's good. It's a good thing. That's what the future feels like for us now. Like our dreams are coming true, like our fortune is being given to us, and it's going to eradicate the sadness that we're feeling. So we go from mourning and grieving to an overall sadness. And see how she's holding the rose, but she's about to let it fall. She's not clutching it anymore. So what I'm going to pull for us is a Blessed Bee card to read really quickly. Even though these can't be read really quickly, I'm going to have to try. Yeah, I have time. I just have not very much space, as many times as I try to clear it. I want to get another clarifying card for this because it seems like such a bright future, and there was so much stolen and so much that we could be sad over, but I really feel like it's a much more positive place. I think it's more having to do with getting through the sadness, and I feel the sadness dissipating. I feel it lessening here. It goes from this strength, from the death to widow to sadness. So it's like the grief is dispelling in its strength. And I feel like when you're here, the sadness is going to drive you towards happiness, to want happiness. You're going to get a visit from a spiritual person, possibly even a priest or a minister or a spirit guide, coming to you with all these roses and all this illumination and warmth, and a blessing upon the fact that your grief has been acknowledged by God, by the divine. Your grief counts and it matters for something, and it will motivate you and very gently project you forward, continuing on your life path. Nothing can ever compensate for that which is lost, but it can be returned to you in many, many different forms that heal the pain of that loss. And you have to have faith that that process can happen, because it's happening. It will happen. So I feel blessed in just talking about it, because that is the truth, and that's how it feels inside of me. Your blessing is a blessing to find your way. Yes, absolutely. And the main card is a blessing for good men and fathers. Holy shit! So this is the widow mourning the loss of a husband. It's also the female mourning the loss of a male. Okay, let's get right into this, because the card is speaking so much on its own. The illustrations, look at the star and the robin, the new beginning, the soul star, the robin of the new beginning, the sovereignty and royalty, the divine masculine energy and fertility. The number 13 is like the best of numbers. Good men and fathers you're breaking these dynamics and creating a new path for yourself. A blessing for good men and fathers. A blessing for the men, the good men, who do the essential work for themselves, for each other, for their families, for their communities. We need good men, loving fathers, fully flowered in their masculinity. May you be blessed with the healing of any wounds you hold and hide within. May you allow yourself to be vulnerable and tender in the care of the young. May you be blessed with the strength of your own untainted power and open up to the great abilities that lie within you. Beneath the muscle and sinew and grit and stoic face you show the world, may you be blessed and be open-hearted in love, intelligent in your alliances, honorable in your agreements, and courageous when you must stand and resist the challenges that may come to you. May you receive the blessings of opening yourself to your own immense internal beauties, refusing to identify only with the shadow which swallows so many good men. Instead, when you meet the darkness within, let it be understood, acknowledged and honored, healed and transformed. And thus may you turn away from the stereotypes and become your true self. May all men be blessed as they do this sacred work. To every man may you be a brother, and with every honorable act of care and compassion and protection and nurture, may you be most blessed. For you are precious to us all, and you father us all. It is not through the bonds of biology, but through the strands of connection, for all men are our brothers. May you show the next men how to father themselves, and thus continue the evolution of our humanity. To all men who have literally had the blessing of children, may your nurture be blessed. To all men who raise and rear other men's children, may you be most blessed. To the good men and the good fathers for showing the many possibilities of how a man can be good in a very deep, real way, offering us all a well of wisdom from which to drink, a fire of protection and love by which to warm ourselves, by which to warm oneself, and the endless love of the sea in which we are reborn. May your gifts to the world return to you threefold. Blessed be. Virgo, if you would like to connect with me, all the links necessary to connect with me are in the drop-down description box below. Until we meet again, I send you off with much love and brightest blessings. Please give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment how things resonated for you in the comment section. And please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want further notifications of new videos. Till we meet again, much, much love and brightest blessings. Take care. Bye-bye.